Most consultants never break $200,000 a year when they go out on their own. That's not because they're not good, it's because they're missing 5 crucial steps that every $1 million consultancy already has in place. Today I'm going to walk you through all 5, and I'm going to show you how to build a business that doesn't just pay the bills, but actually funds your freedom. Here's the truth that most consultants aren't told. $1 million consultancies are not built by working longer hours, and they're certainly not built by landing that one big client. They're built by creating the right systems with repeatable actions and playing the long game where they design their business on purpose. This isn't about theory, it's about showing you what I've seen work with real consultants. And it's about boiling it down into a way that you can make it real for your business as well. Welcome to your Consulting Business Podcast. My name is Russell Pearson, and this is episode 124. And if you're a consultant who is looking to build a business that can either scale to exit or build a lifestyle that you absolutely love rather than just trying to survive, then you're in the right place. The first step in building $1 million business is the model. Most consultants do a little bit of everything. They're doing a little bit of retainers, they're doing some workshops, they're doing a little bit of strategy. Maybe they're actually diving in and doing contracts from time to time where really they become an employee. If you don't have a very clear model on what are you going to do repeatedly, and if you haven't done the math to identify if it's possible, it's never going to work for you. Let's say the goal of your model is to have $1 million every year. Well, what is the mathematics that's going to enable that to happen? Well, let's say that you had maybe a $60,000 offer, which is available for a certain amount of people. Well, how many of those are you going to need to make $1 million? Well, you're going to need 17 of those $60,000 models to make sure that even makes sense. Now, it's not too difficult to get a $60,000 contract annually where the breakup is $5,000 a month. But the question is, can you service 17 of these clients at one time? Now, it is definitely possible if you engage with them maybe one day a month, but if they're looking for a deeper engagement with you, then it's probably not going to be possible as a solo practitioner. Now, you might want to actually engage other consultants to come in and then you become the manager of that business. 100%. It does change the profitability of the model, and it means that you're probably going to be giving away 50% at least of your profits to those other consultants who are going to be working for you, but it can certainly be done. Now, you might also decide, well, I don't want to do these deeper engagements for the $60,000. I might want to just do these one-off pieces, which are maybe $20,000. Maybe it's strategy work, strategy workshops, and things like that. Now, above $20,000, it can be challenging. Doesn't mean you can't actually charge it. There are people charging $100,000 for strategy. I want the opportunities to be available to you. Most people aren't charging enough for the strategic work they do. But let's say it's $20,000 from each of these engagements. It really means that you're going to have to do 51 engagements or strategy workshops or strategy whatevers through the year. And so the question is that possible? And is that something I enjoy doing? Now, what a lot of people are doing to actually achieve this $1 million number is that they're doing consulting plus. So consulting plus services, consulting plus done for you or done with you services, whether it's ongoing retained coaching, ongoing maybe done for you services. Maybe they're doing a key role within the organization, which obviously takes a lot of time and it makes it difficult for a solo practitioner to do. But maybe you're delivering something that enables you to do it with leverage. Maybe you've created something that you can implement in a business without a lot of time commitment. But at the end of the day, if you want to make $1 million or at least turn over $1 million in your business, you've got to understand the financial model and the time allocation to that. You might want to engage people to work for you, but then that means that you're going to be a manager or a coordinator. And is that the sort of business that you want to run? So the model and the math around it is such an important part for not only planning effectively, but also for your own confidence to know that it can be done. So if you're wanting the infrastructure of your business to remain small, then that $1 million business is going to be around leverage services. It's going to be around advisory, retainers, and really leveraged IP. So how can you bring your intellectual property into a way that you can make it once and use it multiple times? Another key of the model is, can you retain those clients over time? You might be able to pick up 50 clients in the first year, but then how many of those are you retaining in the second? Otherwise, you're going to be on the monkey grinding wheel and have to get 50 every single year, not even to advance, but just to stay at the same level. Ideally, you want to pick up 50, maybe take 25 of those into the next year and then get another 50. Suddenly you're at 75. And so that scaling enables you to not have to put so much effort into every year ahead of you. Because if you are scaling through simply working harder, that's not a sustainable model. It means you're on the wrong track. Step number 2 is you have to get good at marketing. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be a marketer, but there's certain elements of marketing that you need to get very clear on and then become very effective at. The first of those is to go, who are we working with? Who is our specific market? Because the majority of consultants run into the biggest hurdle when they are working with everybody because there's no leverage in their communication. If you can identify one core audience that you want to work with, not only does that mean that the message that you're sending out is ultimately leveraged, but finding where those people are, which is a core function of marketing, becomes so much easier. You get to identify, is this identity inside an association, or I go to those associations? Is it inside this group or this business group? I know that I can go there. The idea within marketing to make it effective is, yes, there are tricks and yes, there are strategies, but fishing where the fish are becomes an absolute key. So getting good at marketing is very much about identifying who you want to work with, where are they, and how can you communicate with them more effectively. When it comes to your marketing process, basically there's 3 simple steps. There's know, like, and trust. Do they know you? Do they like you? And do they trust you? On the flip side, in the consulting space, do you know them? Do you like them? And do you trust they're not going to waste your time? But even further than that, do they know, respect you, and trust you, right? But there's a more sophisticated way to look at it, and this is really how marketing people look at the process. Have you created awareness? Do they know who you are? Are you showing up in their world? Have you then moved them to a place of consideration? Are they considering you in their mental space for the problem that you solve? Are you a consideration for these individuals? We're moving them from leads to prospects, and at the end of the day, do we have a process to help them make a decision so that they can move ahead or move away from our business? Effective marketing isn't about being everywhere. Ideally, we don't want to be omnipresent in a business of that scale. At $1 million, it's still a small business, which means instead of trying to be everywhere and posting daily on every platform, ideally, we just need to be in the right places. So if we can find where to focus, if we can have one core message to one core audience and actually deliver it into the one first step, you're going to have a far more effective and leveraged way to perform effective marketing. Ideally, we want to go deep before we go wide. So it's not just about getting more attention, it's about getting the right attention more often. Point number 3 is a repeatable sales process. The reality is most consultants are winging it. And if you're wanting to run a $1 million consultancy, you can't do that. You can't just take a referral and then muddle through the process. A $1 million consultancy has a repeatable, elegant, yet simple process that actually turns interest into income without any of the begging for referrals, without having to chase clients, and certainly without being manipulative. It's funny, most of the consultants that we work with, when they first come in to work with us, either in the Forge or the Consulting Guild, what they realize is the difference between having a solid process and having something that they're just muddling through. It changes the game from you trying to be engaged by a client to you walking a client through a decision-making process. And what we recommend is a 2-step process happens. Number 1, we identify if this client is ready to actually move to the sale. In other words, they're ready to take advantage of what we have to offer. And then walking them through a process of decision-making that actually feels fantastic because we help them with the diagnostic and then we do a collaborative sale to enable that it's a nice, smooth yes. The response we get from our own clients and from our clients' clients is they enjoy the process. It feels like you're being walked across a bridge rather than pushed off a cliff. And so having that repeatable process obviously makes it streamlined. It makes it more effective, which means you close more often. But it also enables you to teach that process to somebody else. If you want to commit more time to your client projects and actually working with the client after the sale, then you can absolutely have people, whether they're appointment setters or whether they're closers, come in to help you in engaging those prospects into clients in the first place. If you want to be able to train these people, if you want to grow a business beyond that $1 million milestone, then you're going to want to be able to teach that process to others. Point number 4 is investing in your brand. Positioning yourself so that it's easy for people to find you, easy for people to consider you, and actually get to know you before they even had a conversation with you, goes a long way to closing more sales. And just remember, if people can't remember you, if they can't recall you, then they can't refer you. And if they don't see you as an authority, if they don't respect you, you're not going to be able to demand those high contract rates. So when it comes to brand, there's really 4 different things that we want to consider first. Number 1 is your point of view. So point of view is, do you have a point of view? Do you have an opinion? Do you have something that you can stand on so that people can consider, is that something that I want in my life? If you're doing what everyone else is doing, if you're doing appropriate and professional and not trying to stand out from the crowd, you won't stand out from the crowd. Your opinion really needs a decisive point of view, which is going to repel some people, but they're the people that are not going to be able to work with you because they're not the sort of people who would work with you anyway. As soon as they meet you, they're going to realize. And so you want to repel those people by being more yourself and actually stating things that you believe. And you want to attract more of those right people who actually do see your point of view and are attracted by it. The second one is your visual identity. Now, for a consultant, especially a solo consultant, number 1, that's going to start with your logo, which is not a logo, but your face, right? And so that people need to see you so that they can recall that this is you. They know you. You are the point of sale. So good photography is a huge part of that. Understanding what is the messaging that we're trying to get out there. How are we communicating with people so that when they see us, they recall us and they recall then the point of view. Number 3 is authority content. And authority is built through a number of different ways. Yes, there is social proof and people talking about you, but even more so than that is helping people understand that you have an authority in your area of expertise. Some really simple pillar-based content is like, what is my point of view about this topic? And in relation, especially to the market I want to engage with. You should be talking to the specific people in your market rather than just talking about yourself. Then I like to break it up in a bit of a triangle and say, what are the 3 different aspects that come into my authority content? You start creating those as individual pillars that sit underneath your brand so that people can start to understand your world. And finally, it's the result. And I'll put that in a different color because it's so important. What is the result that you are creating for people? What is the result that you want people to associate with you? All brand is a series of recall triggers so that people are able to recall you in certain situations. So ideally, if you can connect the situation, the symptom that they're experiencing with your brand, with the idea that you are the one, the pathway through you gets them the result, then you'll have done a very effective branding in the consulting space. So if you're sharing your unique point of view, if you're creating visual triggers to enable people to recall you, if you are going a little deeper and actually sharing authority-based content so they understand that you are the person that they should be considering in that world, and if you're very clear about the results that you get for people and the symptoms that they're suffering from so that they understand that you understand them, then you've done incredibly effective branding. Remember, brand is not just about the prospect and the client. It's about every stakeholder who could actually have a say in the work that you do. So it's people who bring you onto their stages. It's people who want to refer you. At the end of the day, if you've done really effective branding, there is a lot less convincing to do. And the biggest tip I can give you today is learn from others who have already done it before. There are people who've already trodden the paths. And the biggest challenge I see for most really smart consultants is they feel like they need to figure it out themselves. They feel like if they raise their hand and ask the question, especially in front of people, they may look stupid. But the fastest way to build $1 million business is ask those people who have already done it before. So find a model that works, avoid the traps, and build on the shoulders of giants. There are people out there who have peer groups that you can join. There are mentors like myself who can help you get the shortcuts and the cheat codes to enable you to build your business so much faster. You don't need to do it on your own, and there are so many easier ways to build the business that unlocks the freedom that you probably started the business for in the first place. Business shouldn't be a solo game because nobody gets there alone. And I'll tell you what, it's so much more expensive to try and work it out yourself than to learn from somebody who's already been there before. You know, the difference between somebody who successfully builds that $1 million consultancy and someone who's stuck at 120K is design. They don't have some special talent. They don't have more time than you. They have the same lifestyle challenges as every single one of us. The difference is that they actually built their business with intention. That's what we call success by design. And you can do it with design too. You can create a business that fits your lifestyle using your unique strengths and focusing in on the specific audience that you want to serve. And so you can absolutely build $1 million consultancy. And I know many colleagues and clients of mine have done just that. And if this conversation sparks something in you, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel. There are more than 123 different videos, all for consultants just like you. Or put a comment in there. We'd love to hear your comments, or share this with another consultant who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to craft a successful consulting business by design, absolutely reach out. There are people, including myself, who are ready to take your call. And we can have a very short conversation about what could be a possible next step for you. But you've got to do the work. You've got to raise your hand and actually ask for help. And unfortunately, there are so many consultants out there that are not willing to raise their hand so that they can get the help that they need. Last year in just Australia alone, 443,000 businesses went out of business. And that's an absolute record. Now, part of that is because of COVID and people starting their businesses in that period. But we have never seen so many businesses run out of energy and just stop doing what they need to do. And unfortunately, for most of those people, they didn't raise their hand and ask for help. I want to make that very clear for you that that's all you need to do to take the first step. You know, a simple conversation costs you nothing. And when you're ready to accelerate your business, then we can help you 100% build the business that gives you the lifestyle, the freedom, and the impact that you've always wanted. My name's Russell Pearson. For the last 30 years, I've been helping consultants just like you grow and build successful consulting practices. This is the Your Consulting Business Podcast, episode 124. Until next time, stay passionate, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.